Good evening. Our top story. Well, Indian diplomats in Pakistan have been harassed yet again. India has sent a note verbal and unsigned diplomatic note to Pakistan. This incident took place on the 21st of December when 4 Indian diplomats were travelling to Peshawar. Although they had permission for the Peshawar visit, they were harassed and had to cut short their visit. Now, Wion has learnt that the diplomats were followed by men on a motorcycle. Their vehicles were stopped and they were questioned for half an hour on the road. The Pakistani officials who stopped them warned the Indian diplomats to return to Islamabad. The Indian team included the Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh and a second secretary ranked diplomat as well. The diplomats were returning from an area called Qissa Bazar near Hotel Pearl Continental when their vehicle was stopped. India has asked Pakistan's Foreign Ministry to investigate the incident. The letter asked Pakistan to quote-unquote sensitize on extending due courtesies and adequate protocol to visiting diplomats as per norms, unquote. Now, the Pakistani Foreign Ministry, however, has denied these allegations.
Reports from in the Indian media, now it's being reported on the Pakistan side as well. The Indian side has alleged that Pakistani side is allegedly harassing diplomats in Islamabad, and now we've seen reports in New Delhi as well. How do you comment on that?
Pakistan stands for upholding the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and has always endeavoured to facilitate the working of the Indian High Commission in Islamabad within the diplomatic norms, international law and practices. It remains our position that the smooth and unhindered functioning of diplomatic missions is essential.
All right, and joining us to talk a little bit more about this is Ahmed Shaheen, senior journalist joining us from Lahore in Pakistan. Also joining us is G. Parthasarthi, former ambassador. Thank you both for talking to us this evening. Now, Ambassador Parthasarthi, your thoughts on what we are seeing and hearing about, once again, Indian diplomats being harassed in Pakistan. This was not just anyone, but the Deputy High Commissioner, J.P. Singh himself, who was part of this team that was visiting Peshawar.
Well, let me tell you something, that following each other or keeping surveillance is common. It's common to both sides. There is a basic problem, however, and in this case, if you're traveling outside Islamabad or even to Rawalpindi, you have to obtain written approval of the Foreign Office, and the Foreign Office informs the intelligence and other local agencies. That's a similar practice that we follow, but there is a difference. You see, in the case of India, the intelligence agencies function, they are civilian and they function under the control of the Home Ministry and therefore the civilian authority. And the Home Ministry is very careful not to do anything which affects the diplomatic relations.
Yes.
And this has been admitted to me when my people were followed by even people in Nawaz Sharif's office, that the surveillance of Indian diplomats in Pakistan is not done by civilian intelligence agencies, but by the ISI. And there have been several occasions when my diplomats had been harassed.
Okay.
But a certain stage came when we decided to reciprocate.
Right.
So I'm not aware of what policy is now, but I'm certain there will be reciprocal action.
Yes.
But doing this to a Deputy High Commissioner is rather odd, because the High Commissioner and his deputy
I take your point.
are followed discreetly. I've been followed discreetly.
Yes,
that's a fact of life.
Absolutely. Well, that's correct.
But this is...
yes, that officials on both sides, of course, tailed.
This is not done.
Yes, Emma Shaheen, let me take that. Yes, Emma Shaheen, let me take that to you, that it's obviously normal that senior officials on both sides are tailed. And, you know, I mean, if you go outside Islamabad, you have to take permission. If you go outside New Delhi, as a Pakistani official, you have to take permission. Having said that, in the past, there's been gas lines that have been cut to Indian homes in Pakistan. We've seen a lot of back and forth on, you know, how officials have been harassed within their own homes, doorbells have been rung, and so on and so forth. Where do you think this is heading?
Obviously, this is not the first time such things have happened on either side of the border. In March this year, children of Pakistani diplomats minutes on the roads. The Pakistani media extensively covered that. Pakistani media is not covering this news. The Indian media is. But it's happening on both sides of the border. And it is harassment.
Right.
And crime against those who are protected by the Vienna Convention. And it's despicable, and it's kind of like chest beating both the countries, the intelligence agencies, chest beating to their diplomats, and also being oppressors blatantly, and showing how they're keeping, for example, Pakistan keeping India in line and India keeping Pakistan in line. I mean, these are messengers. You never shoot the messengers.
Okay, your line is freezing a bit, Emmer, so I'm just going to take that to G. Parthasarthi. And Ambassador Parthasarthi, I want to take this beyond what we're seeing of, diplomats being harassed. Now, official sources here on the Indian side are indicating that until the election process, no big initiative will be expected as far as the Indo-Pakistan talks are concerned, and there's been no reduction of cross-border terror. And Kartarpur was not a diplomatic initiative, but a cultural one. How do you see this? What senior officials or top sources on the Indian side are saying?
Look, I think it is quite clear, as I said, surveillance is part of the course as a diplomat. With it, I've spent 5.5 years in Pakistan. But certain red lines are not crossed. For example, there was an instance when my wife was harassed and we took it up very seriously. That's when some of the guys, over a drink, they told me, look, in our case, this is the military, they are a law unto themselves. And the surveillance is done very crudely by the ISI.
Right.
So I think what has happened is unfortunate.
Right.
That the Deputy High Commissioner should be stopped.
Right.
Is a serious matter. And I am sure that if Delhi behaves the way I expect them to, there will be a reciprocity on this, and we will do what is necessary.
All right, Ambassador Parthasarthi and Ahmed Shaheen, thanks very much indeed for joining us.